So we got to be mindful of how we moving and the energy that we giving off. Because not only are we ruining our own day, but we ruining the day of others because we throwing off the energy. We throwing off the frequency here. You know what I'm saying? For leaders, having emotional intelligence is essential for success. After all, who is more likely to succeed? A leader who shouts at his team when he's under stress? Or a leader who stays in control and calmly assesses the situation? There are 5 key elements to emotional intelligence. We're about to break down the 5 key elements to emotional intelligence, right? Nothing is ever whole. Everything is pieces. You got to break down all the pieces, put all the pieces back together, and then you can only hope to get something whole. So the first piece of emotional intelligence is to be self-aware. To be self-aware, or commonly known as being conscious, right? We hear so many people use the term conscious. I'm conscious. I'm a conscious brother, right? All that means is to be aware. To be aware is to be alive. So you got to be conscious, right? The second piece is self-regulation. Self-regulation, also known as discipline. You got to be disciplined. You got to be able to regulate yourself. It's not going to always be somebody there to hold your hand and tell you yes, no, or maybe you should go this way, you should go that way. You got to be confident in yourself and in your decision making to the point and to the place where you can regulate yourself. Motivation, the third piece of emotional intelligence. Motivation. The fourth piece, empathy. The fifth piece, social skills. So let's go deeper. If you're self-aware, you always know how you feel. And you know how your emotions and your actions can affect the people around you. Being self-aware when you're in a leadership position also means having a clear picture of your strengths and weaknesses. It means behaving with humility. So what can you do to improve your social awareness? Keep a journal. Journals help to motivate your self-awareness. You can spend just a few minutes each day writing down your thoughts. This can move you to a higher degree of self-awareness. Yo, writing things down is so dope for so many reasons. I was going through my office, I'm cleaning things up, and I find one of my little journals, my little goal guide and all that. Jonas, I see you in the live. D, I see you in the live. So I'm cleaning out the office and all that, and I found my little goal guide. And it was just dope to look at the goal guide and see, I don't know how many years ago I wrote the goal guide. This had to be years upon years ago, right? 4, 5, 6 years ago I wrote out these goals. But it's dope to see. It's dope to see what goals you accomplished, and it's dope to see what goals you didn't. Right? It's dope to see the goals you wrote down and told yourself, yo, I want to get this done. And it's dope to look back and see, yo, I got that done. I put my head down, I got the work in, I got it done. That's a dope feeling. You know what I'm saying? That's a dope feeling. But it's also dope to see the things you didn't get done. And the reason why it's dope to see the things and pay attention to your goal guide or the things you didn't get done is because then you get to assess why you didn't get them done. You get to understand what you may have thought was important years ago plays no role or no factor in what's going on in your life right now. So writing things down, as we just said, yo, it's important to write things down. Keep a log. Keep a track record of this life. It feels like this life takes forever. It feels like every day is dragging. That's just social conditioning. That's because they got us in this conundrum of going to work, paying bills, the BS. But in reality, this lifetime is a blink of the eye. This lifetime goes by quicker than a snap. This lifetime is very short and very precious. So it's great to write things down and log the journey. So years from now, maybe not even you, maybe your ancestors, your grandkids, sit down and read what you wrote and could understand better what kind of person you were. This will help to motivate them and understanding what kind of people they are. You understand? Slow down. My grandfather probably told me slow down every day of my life. Slow down. Yo, slow down. Why you going so, just slow down. Slow down. This is coming from somebody at that time who's probably 70, 80 years old, done lived their life, did it all, seen it all, and they still telling me slow down, enjoy the ride. You speeding through this thing, King. Slow down. When you experience anger or other strong emotions, slow down to examine why. Remember, no matter what the situation, you can always choose how you react to it. No matter the situation, you can always choose how you react to it. Now that's deep. That's deep because on the surface it sounds simple. Well, you could choose to be happy. You could choose to, just be happy, man. Just be grateful. Just be happy. Just be grateful. On the surface, that sounds very simple. Mikey, I see you in the live. What's the deal, cuzzo? Love you, boy. But 9 times out of 10, I challenge you to assess why you're upset. And more times than not, what you're going to find deep, underlying, okay, I got paid on a Friday and I was broke by Monday. I'm upset that I'm broke, or am I upset with my spending habits? I got paid on a Friday and I was broke on a Monday. Am I upset with am I upset that I don't got enough bread, or am I upset with my spending habits? This is how we get to a place where we could rise above whatever holding us back from whatever it is that we need. We got to slow it down. Pay attention. Somebody could do dirt to you, steal your stuff. But you got to break down the situation and slow down enough before you get angry to assess what really happened and what role you played and how you could play it differently moving in the future. Because the name of the game ain't to stop all robbers and thieves and liars. There's going to be robbers, thieves, liars, people that's trying to deceive you, people that are deceiving you. And your goal and job in life ain't to be a detective and find all these people. That's not the goal in life. Because unfortunately, there's so many people that are liars, deceivers, that if you spend your time trying to out all of these different liars and deceivers, you'll waste your life being a detective. So slow it down and play your role. Do what you're supposed to be and do what you're supposed to be. Do what you're supposed to do and be who you're supposed to be, and let the universe take care of the rest. Self-regulation. Leaders who regulate themselves effectively rarely verbally attack others. Leaders who regulate themselves effectively rarely verbally attack others or make rushed or emotional decisions or stereotype or compromise their values. Self-regulation is all about staying in control. I always heard if you allow someone to get you angry, you just gave away your power. If you allow someone to push you over the edge, they won. And I never understood that. How am I supposed to deal with somebody doing something dirt to me and not get angry? You just did whatever you did to me. I feel as though I have all rights to be angry, right? But the reality is, you got to regulate self. You got to get to a place, and we all working towards this. I'm not at this place. This is a place I'm working towards. Nothing moves me. I choose when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm whatever, based on my decisions. right? That's self-regulation. We can't let others compromise how we feel. If you having a great day and you run into a friend and he gives you some, bad news that he's going through, you got to be empathetic. Be there for your friend. Build, help. But you can't let what your friend's going through determine what you're going through. You got to self-regulate. When you at work and a coworker is just annoying, a coworker is just annoying. Like, they just annoying. Whatever they doing just annoys you, right? You got to regulate yourself. You can't keep going to work and say, yo, Timmy always put his coffee on my desk and that blows mine. I'm so heated. Every day I go to work, I'm so heated. Every time Timmy put his coffee on my desk. I got to regulate myself. If I have no control over the situation, Timmy's my supervisor, I can't tell him, don't put your coffee on my desk. Yo, rock with it. Learn to regulate yourself. This element of emotional intelligence also covers leaders' flexibility and commitment to personal accountability. Know your values. Do you have a clear idea of where you absolutely will not compromise? These are boundaries, right? It's important to know your boundaries. Do you know what values are most important to you? Spend some time examining your code of ethics. If you know what's most important to you, then you probably won't have to think twice when you face a moral or ethical decision. You'll make the right choice. Hold yourself accountable. If you tend to blame others when something goes wrong, stop. Make a commitment to admit your mistakes and to face the consequences, whatever they are. You'll probably sleep better at night, and you'll quickly earn the respect of those around you. So many times in life, I've lied about when I made a mistake. If I'm at work, put out the burger's rare. I knew it was rare when I sent it out, but I was like, hopefully it'll get there by the time it hits the table. Chef comes back, yo, this burger's not well. This burger's medium. Nah, chef, I know for sure. Because I'm fearing the consequences. But what I'm doing is not being empathetic to myself at the cost of a chef that may be angry because I made a mistake. Yo, end of the day, I know it was a mistake. I lied. I got to tell the truth. Just come honest with it. Because I know my values. I know what's important to me. I know what certain boundaries I'm not going to break because it means something to me. And that's why you got to hold yourself accountable. Step up to those mistakes. Stand in it, right? Because it will quickly earn you the respect of those around you. The commonality between all people is we all make mistakes. Irregardless of anything you thought, think, or heard, we all make mistakes. And the real reality is there's no level to mistakes. Whether you knock over the salt at the table or you have an accident at the red light, these are all mistakes. Irregardless of what somebody tries to tell you how one mistake is worse than the other, we learned while we was young. A sin is a sin is a sin. So be empathetic to yourself more than anybody. And understand not only do you make mistakes, but everybody does. So stand in your mistakes. Face the consequences. And gain that respect from those around you. Like, yo, I respect son. End of the day, he fumbled. but he stood in that and got better for the next time. That's honorable. Because more times than not, when you make that mistake and try to cover it up and sweep it under the rug, most times people know that you've already made that mistake. You lied, cheated, whatever it was, was deceitful. More times than not, they letting it rock. Believe it or not. It's not that you got away with it. It's just they letting it rock. Why they're letting it rock, I don't know. I can't get into that. But more times than not, you got to just be accountable and stand in it. So yes, you made a mistake, but you could always leave with respect. CJ, I see you on the live, boy. Practice being calm. And this is a major key in holding yourself accountable. Because you got to stay calm and stay in the presence of mind before you reach for the quick get out. Lies, dissension, sorcery, all of these different things are just the quick get out. Did you clean your room? Yes, because you want to go outside. If you say no, you're going to have to take the time, clean up your room, then you can go outside. So why do we lie? Because I want to go outside now. Chasing that instant gratification. Instant gratifications is probably the worst, best thing known to man. When you find yourself in a space of depression, boredom, you know what I mean? Just flat out restlessness, instant gratification will get you in mounds of trouble in every facet of your life. You want to get off work now, so you come up with some scheme. Oh, I got to go home because for the instant gratification of knowing I don't have to work. But then when you get your check, you ain't so gratified because your check is missing a day's worth of pay. But that impulse decision, chasing instant gratification, is how you got here. So how do you handle that? Do you take accountability and say, yo, I'm the one that called out. That's why my check's short. I got nothing to complain about. Or do you say, yo, this job ain't paying enough, man. How I can't take a day off and still not have enough money? That's crazy. There's no accountability there. CJ said, preach. He said, struggle is real, teacher. Listen, and we all in it. That's the beautiful part about the struggle. As whack as the struggle may be, whatever the struggle may be, we all got one. Ain't nobody perfect. LeBron's the greatest basketball player on the face of the planet. There's no debating that. Right? He struggles. That man can't hit free throws. You feel me? So a struggle is a struggle is a struggle. And we all got to, practice being calm. The next time you're in a challenging situation, be very aware of how you act. Do you realize you're stressed by shouting? Do you realize you're stressed by shouting at someone else? Practice deep breathing exercises to calm yourself. Also try to write down all the negative things you want to say and then rip it up and throw it away. Sounds simple, but it'll definitely help. Keep you from saying something you don't mean. Expressing these emotions on paper and not showing them to anyone is better than speaking them out loud. Once more, this helps you challenge your reactions to ensure that they're fair. Self-motivation. Self-motivated leaders work continuously towards their goals, and they have extremely high standards for the quality of work. How can you improve your motivation? Re-examine why you're doing your job. It's easy to forget what you really love about your career. So take some time to remember why you wanted this job. And if you're unhappy in your role and you're struggling to remember why you wanted it, try the 5 whys, which is a technique to find the root of the problem. Starting at the root often helps you look at your situation in a new way. The 5 whys technique. So, first way, gather a team. Gather together people who are familiar with the specifics of the problem and with the process that you'll need to take to fix it. Include someone that acts as a facilitator who can help the team focus on individually effective countermeasures. Define the problem. If you can, observe the problem in action. Discuss it with your team and write a brief, clear problem statement that you all agree on. Then write your statement on a whiteboard, sticky note, whatever. Leave enough space around it to add answers to the repeated question of why. Ask your team why this problem is occurring. Asking why sounds simple, but asking it requires serious thought. Search for answers that are grounded in fact. They must be accounts of things that have actually happened, not guessing at what may have happened. So many times we find ourselves in situations and the situation happens so fast and flies past us, we don't even really remember what happened in said situation. So when you go to ask yourself why, you may confuse yourself as to why whatever situation happened because you actually forgot why, right? So be clear on why. For each of the answers that you generate when you ask why, ask a 4th why in succession. Each time, frame the question in response to the answer you just recorded. Simple breakdown. I smoke too much. Why? Because I feel depressed. Why? Because of personal reasons from my past and anxiety about the future. Why do you have anxiety about the future? Why do these past experiences still affect you? This is the power of asking why and digging for deep answers. This is the power in that. My dog is going crazy. The neighbor must be in the yard. Social skills. Leaders who do well in the social skills element of emotional intelligence are great communicators. They're just as open to hearing bad news as good news. They're an expert at getting their team to support them, and they're excited about a new mission or project. Leaders who have good social skills are also good at managing change and resolving conflicts diplomatically. They're rarely satisfied with leaving things where they are, but they don't sit back and make everyone else do the work. They set an example with their own behavior. Learn conflict resolution. Leaders must know how to resolve conflict between their teammates, customers, or vendors by learning conflict resolution. Improve your communication skills. How well do you communicate? Learn how to praise others. As a leader, you can inspire the loyalty of your team by simply giving praise. You dig? This is the keys. This is going to unlock so much for you because at the end of the day, what one person does has no bearings on how you should feel, think, or act. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Alright, my fault. I'm back, y'all. I'm back, everybody. My bad. But okay. So let's keep going. What time is it? 7:36. We doing good. All right. Let's get into some practical examples of emotional intelligence, right? Let's look at examples of emotional intelligence in our everyday lives. Shout out to everybody in the live. You already know it's your boy Suave God. It's another Tuesday in the free world, so you know we here. You can bite the style, but you might break your teeth. You know what I'm saying? So, let's go ahead and knock this thing on out. So, successful leaders are not oblivious to their shortcomings. However, they have the drive to improve each day. Had you been stubborn, unwilling to accept your shortcomings, or resistant to working on self-improvement, would you really go places? To become a successful leader, you need to develop self-awareness to recognize and overcome your weakness. Conversely, would you want to contribute toward the success of someone who doesn't have much self-awareness or who is extremely resistant to feedback and suggestions for improvement? This kind of person will not grow. They are unlikely to become leaders. Bobby Ray, I see you on the live, boy. Leaders are those who focus on personal development, on acquiring new skills and empowering others by delegating tasks and responsibilities. Such behavior by leaders is an example of emotional intelligence in our everyday lives. For true leaders, work and work goals are above everything else, including personal interests and comforts. Let me say that again. For true leaders, work and work goals are above everything else, including personal interests and comforts. A business leader shares a strong bond with the company's boards, partners, or other stakeholders, and even industry rivals. When we say leader, we talk about a person who sees the bigger picture, shares their vision with others, and channels their collective abilities to achieve that vision. Leaders have an unshakable vision of what needs to be done, and they need no external inputs to achieve their goals. A great leader is one who is able to outline each team member's place in the larger scheme of things. They value the role that subordinates play in steering the organization to success. Mr. Hayes, I see you in the live. That's a great leader, man. Leaders exhibit great people skills, which are based on high emotional intelligence, and this helps them gain a following. They empathize with others and are able to read the person in the situation to respond accordingly. Nobody ever recommended becoming robotic or leaving your emotions behind in the workplace. In fact, to be a great leader, you need to be a human and one who has mastered emotional intelligence skills. Remember, you need to channel your emotions to drive things and people forward, rather than getting carried away yourself. As a leader, you need to constantly pursue self-improvement and harness the potential of your coworkers to achieve bigger goals. We working now. You already know it's your boy Suave God. Welcome to the live. It's another Tuesday in the free world, so you know we here. You could bite the style, but you might break your teeth. Let's keep going, man. How do I develop? You keep talking about this emotional intelligence, Dave. How do I develop it? Emotional intelligence is a critical component of leadership. Your ability to manage your emotions as well as recognize and influence others has been considered one of the strongest indicators of workplace performance. Research shows that 90% of the top performers on a high emotional intelligence level, technical skills will get you only so far. If you're an aspiring or current leader, you need to build your emotional intelligence to bring out the best in others and cultivate high-performing teams. Leaders prime their emotional state of the organization. So let's talk about what is emotional intelligence and why is it important? Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your emotions and emotions of others. Similar to IQ, emotional intelligence can be measured through various assessments, but IQ represents cognitive abilities, while EQ, emotional intelligence, is measured by one's emotional capabilities. While emotional intelligence is beneficial for everyone, it is especially important for those in leadership positions. Emotionally intelligent leaders can empathize with others, communicate effectively, and manage conflict. All of these abilities are qualities of effective leaders. If you want to enhance your leadership capabilities, here are 5 emotional intelligence skills you need and the ways you can develop them. Now we broke that down. Self-awareness, self-regulation, pausing before responding. Give yourself time to stop and think before immediately replying. This could be as simple as taking a deep breath and allowing a 20-second pause so that your feelings get out of the way of your thoughts. Take a step back. Sometimes you might need to leave the room, and that's okay. It's often better to take a walk, drink some water, or call a friend than to make a snap judgment. Recognize your emotions. Try jotting down what you're feeling and what caused the distress. You're likely to start identifying patterns. If you know what triggers you, the next time a similar situations occur, you'll be better positioned to handle them. Empathy is the capability of understanding other person's experiences and emotions. This is ranked as the top leadership skill needed today by global consulting firm DDI. So this is ranked as the top skill needed for any leaders moving in a leadership position or role. Empathy. You need to be empathetic, leaders. Leaders, you need to be empathetic. Remain empathetic. Empathy is the capability of understanding, all right? Okay. According to a separate survey by Business Solver, 96% of employees rank empathy as important, but 92% say it's undervalued. It shouldn't be, though. Companies that prioritize empathy experience an increase in revenue, right? So if the company is being empathetic towards you, they experience an increase in revenue. So let's get down and break down why emotionally intelligent people still follow Colin Powell's 13 rules for leaders. We got about 15 minutes left, so we ain't gonna hold it up. You already know it's your boy Suave God, and I'm in the billing. You know what I'm saying? We got it going down. We're talking about emotional intelligence being brighter than what's going on. See, my brother Kanye is breaking down a lot of dope facts. Kanye is talking about a lot of fly things, and he's speaking a lot of truth. But at the same time, brother Kanye is not being emotionally intelligent to those around him. Sometimes if you got the good gospel, it ain't about you getting the message out. It's about how you got that message out to display whether people are going to receive that message. If your message is very important, you feel this message is vital to the everyday life of your people, what's more important, getting it out or the people receiving it? Because you can get the message out, but if the people don't receive it, what is the importance of your message? Lives is cool, but if nobody's on it and nobody views it, I'm just saying. So, why emotionally intelligent people still follow Colin Powell's 13 rules for leaders? Yo, I need 3 people in the live to share this live because we about to break it down. 3 people in the live share this live, about to break it down. I might even light a spliff. Let's go. Rule number 1. It ain't as bad as you think. It will look better in the morning. A wonderful rule to start with, since it encourages you to strip anxiety and fear from your decision making, even in a situation you have to deal with really does turn out bad. It's best not to fear the facts led to inaction before you even get started. You already know we love the comments. Yo, JJ, I see you in the live. Miss Caprice, I see you in the live. Make sure y'all hit that share. Mr. Hayes said a true leader will go through the fire and hardships first to ensure that he can lead the people that they will be going through with them in the right direction. The mindset of go versus let's go mentally. Mrs. TKO, you already know. I forget who said it, but I was watching an interview, a podcast, and what he alluded to was Cowboys and Indians. And what he said was it was either Jay-Z or Kanye, is the Indian. He's the Indian going over the hill first. You know what I'm saying? And if you ever watch the old Westerns, it's always one Indian or cowboy going over first to go see what's cracking. Then he comes back and lets the homies know, oh, it's crazy over there. Pull up. Oh, nah, I got it. It's all good. That person got to be the bravest of the bunch. That person has to be the smartest out of the bunch to ensure that they can return home and let us know what's going on. That person has to be the leader, right? We had this idea of because we see these movies and we hear and see generals and leaders in the back during war. We got to go back further in history. I want you to go back to that Shaka Zulu thing. When Shaka was in front of everybody. Shaka was the first one over, popped that bottle, came back and let the homies know what was going on. That's how we got to move and how we got to operate. Rule number 2, get mad, then get over it. Rule number 2, in applying emotional intelligence, get mad, then get over it. Anger is a normal range, is a part of the normal range of human emotions. Anger is part of the normal range of human emotions. Better to feel it, acknowledge it, and let it go before it negatively affects your decision making. See, for me, this is how I play with anger. When things make me angry, like I said, step 1, I sleep on it. I understand that made me angry. I understand right now I'm feeling anger, but I don't let that dictate or decide my decision making from here on. I go to bed and then I get over it. It's a new day, a new situation. We living in the present. We're living in the now. I understand that anger is a natural part of the range of human emotion, so I don't beat myself up for becoming angry, but I limit the decision makings and the things I say when I'm angry, because I don't want to regret a decision made or a statement made in a angry state of mind. So, rule number 3, don't be so attached to an argument that it fails because your ego goes with it. Don't be so attached to an argument that if it fails, your ego goes with it. Hit that share button because we about to go crazy. This rule is important to keep in mind for yourself, but it's also important to remember that it works for others too. In short, emotionally intelligent people will work to find ways for other people to save face during disputes, because that can make it a lot easier for them to agree with you when appropriate. Don't let that go over your head. These are true negotiation, business tactic, emotionally high level emotional intelligence tactics here. Okay? Emotionally intelligent people will work to find ways for other people to save face during disputes, because that can make it a lot easier for them to agree with you when appropriate. See, these skills and tactics you're already practicing in your everyday life and don't realize. You know how when you're telling a kid, yo, hey, stop that. That's not right. That's wrong. But then you say to him right behind that, well, hey, you poured too much milk in the cereal, so it spilled over. But hey, I like your initiative. I like that you had the initiative to go and get the milk and try to make your own bowl of cereal. But hey, next time, make sure you come check with me first. Right? That's how you work it, for lack of better terms. Right? Because if the goal is to teach the baby that, hey, look, end of the day, I love what you did, or I love what you were trying to do, but at the end of the day, next time come get me. That's the name of the game. Right? So this is how we want to handle disputes and different things moving forward. Because when it comes down to it, what you don't want is to lose an argument because your ego is getting the better of you. Sometimes the goal is the goal regardless of your ego. Your ego may tell you, I want to get stuck here or stuck there. But if the goal is to get to Operation B, we're going to do what we need to do to get to point B. That's the goal. So don't get caught up in your ego. If I need directions and I'm in an amusement park and I pull up to one of the workers like, yo, hey, where could I find the fun zone? And that worker has a bad attitude, they disrespectful, I'm not going to get caught up in my ego. Yo, where's your manager? Yo, I want to speak to your boy. No, the goal is to get to Funville. So either you could provide me with the instructions to get to Funville, or I could swerve right around you, go holler at another worker and get to Funville. Because the goal is to get to Funville. The goal is not to prove to you that you rude. The goal is not to prove to you that the way you're handling things is wrong. That's not the goal. This is why we got to be very clear on everything we do and why we're doing it. Because with a clear, yo, June, welcome to the live. Yo, share this June so I can go viral. Share this June so I can go viral. But the goal, always remember the goal. Always be clear on what the goal is when you're going on any mission. Because it's easier to not get sidetracked by your ego when you're clear on what the goal is. If my goal is to get on the bus and go to 145th Street, and when I get on the bus driver has an attitude, the bus driver's acting funky, I'm not worried about the bus driver because my goal is 145th. And I'm not going to let my ego come between that. You understand? Rule number 4, it can be done. There's a trap people fall into. Allowing negative emotions to lead them to a negative conclusion and then crafting arguments to back up that conclusion. Yo, how many times have you been in a situation where it made you angry? You got in an argument with Shorty. That argument made you angry. Okay, cool. That negative emotion of anger led you to a negative conclusion. Yo, we had this argument. Now I'm angry. Now I feel like this is what's going on. I know what's going on. So now that's a negative conclusion. And you're crafting your argument behind that negative conclusion. So now you sit and you say, well, yeah, you made me mad earlier. So now I'm thinking about everything. Yo, when you did this and you did that, that really meant this. When you said that at the dinner table, I know what you really meant. Yo, when you told me that the asparagus was a little limp, you was talking about my ED. You said the asparagus was limp. You was trying to say I was impotent. No, she's talking about asparagus. Yo, big shouts out to Mr. Michael Williams Sr. in the spin out. 300%. We in the billing. Mr. Williams, share this so I can go viral. Oh, yeah, we in North Carolina. It's all legal. And it's only for Mr. Michael Williams. Super safe. Took that out. I got me a new one today, Mr. Michael Williams. Got me the little compact 4.5 Smith & Wesson. Very nice. Very nice. Mr. Williams is an avid gun owner, gun collector, gun enthusiast. So I'm sure he'd be, psyched about that. Got my little colored clip dropper right there. Yo, Trey, what's the deal? I know Dwight told you what happened, but I got a new one. Trey. I'm back in the game. Pocket rocket. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to all my gun owners, gun collectors. You already know the vibes. Pocket rocket, clip out, being safe, all that good shit. You know the vibes. But yeah, so I went for the pocket rocket. I had the 40 first. I had the big 40, Smith & Wesson, M&P, P2. You know what I'm saying? The big nice joint, brand new, came out last year. I'm not going to get into what happened, but, shit happened. But now, I went and got the compact, 3.6 barrel, 4.5 ACP. Nice. So, shouts out to Mr. Williams, all my gun owners, gun collectors. Peace to the planet. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, back to this. Leo, I see you in the live. So, it can be done. There's a trap people fall into, allowing negative emotions to lead them to a negative conclusion and then crafting arguments to back up that conclusion. Somebody made you angry at home. So now you come to work, your coworker does something, so now you're angry at your coworker, and you go through, my man went to the hammer right away, by all means necessary. No, Leo, what happened? You just walked in the live. Mr. Michael Williams Sr. is an avid gun collector, gun owner, gun enthusiast, and I just got a new gun. So I wanted to show him my new gun and, talk about my new gun. But by any means necessary is a very, very accurate description. So there's a trap that people fall into, allowing the negative emotions to lead them to a negative conclusion, then crafting arguments to back up that conclusion. Instead, reverse those forces. As Powell wrote, always start out believing you can get it done until facts and analysis pile up against this. Have a positive and enthusiastic approach. Rule number 5, in being highly emotionally intelligent, be careful what you choose. You may get it. Here's another military saying you probably heard of if you served during the past 30 years. And this is my favorite line right now. This is what I'm living by day to day, every day. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Hit the share button. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. In short, if you take your time to think things through methodically, you'll make fewer mistakes in the long run and wind up closer to your ultimate goals. Nothing original in this one, Powell later wrote. Don't rush into things. Rule number 6, don't let adverse facts stand in the way of a good decision. This rule is about realizing that almost all important decisions have to be made without complete information. John Doe, I see you on the live, my boy. If you wait until there's complete information, you will likely wait until it's too late to decide. This rule is about realizing that almost all important decisions have to be made without complete information. If you wait until there is complete information, you'll likely wait until it's too late to decide. Recognizing your humility and that you will make some mistakes, paradoxically, can make this uncertainty more tolerable and allow you to trust your informed instincts. Like I always told y'all, if you go back at my past lives, man, intuition, man. We all are superheroes and we got this superpower called intuition. Dono in the building. You know the vibes, nigga. The young god. You can't make someone else's decisions, and don't let others make yours. You can't make someone else's decisions, and don't let others make yours. I think it's fairly easy to imagine this rule coming into play during negative circumstances, as when you're being pressured to do something you don't think is right. The harder test, and the time to remember this, is when arguably positive things are being dangled in front of you, but they don't align with your goals and values. Powell talks about how he served as a Secretary of State. He was inundated with lucrative offers to serve on corporate boards and finance, but ultimately turned them down. They were trying hard to make a choice for me, but I held out for my own choice. Yo, let's be very, very clear, y'all. Yo, I'm talking to everybody on this live, man. I'm speaking to your soul, man. I'm speaking to the soul of everybody on this live, man. Make your own decisions and make them based on how it affects you, man. How it makes you feel. You know, I was in a position where financially, the gig that I had was dope. 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 The gig that I had was dope. But internally, in my innards, it ain't make me feel good. It didn't leave me feeling accomplished. It didn't leave me feeling, like I did something. It didn't leave me feeling like the man. It left me feeling nasty. It left me feeling like I was compromising my values in search of the money. It left me feeling like, yo, I know better, but I love this paper so much, I'm going to put my values to the side and do this. Now that part of the game is for each man and woman to decide what's right or wrong for them. But it's important to understand why you're doing what you're doing and not to be pressured into doing something you don't want to do because it go against your values, man. Ain't nothing worth that. Ain't nothing worth that. It'll seem as though it's the right move. It'll seem as though it's what you should do. It'll seem as though that's what's up. But the reality in all actuality, it's not. It's doing nothing but slow you up. Check small things. Emotionally intelligent people adopt this practice for a very simple reason: to avoid letting their optimism, excitement, or sheer busyness lead them to assume things are working out. This shit deep. Check the small things. Emotionally intelligent people adopt this practice for a very simple reason: to avoid letting their optimism, excitement, or sheer busyness lead them to assume things are working out. Look at this. 1% on the live, y'all. Am I going to be able to get the charger in before this live dies? I think so. Bang. Charger in. Bang. Charging. See? Look at that. The small things. That was just ill. 1%. Keep your Morphe handy. Keep your Morphe handy. Oh, man. That's what he said. Okay. Check the small things. Well, Bob, Cuzzo, I see you in the live, boy. What's the deal? Emotionally intelligent people adopt this practice for a very simple reason: to avoid letting their optimism, excitement, and sheer busyness lead them to assume things are working out. Listen, man, so many times we'll be in situations that we put ourselves in. And because we're so excited about that situation, because we're just optimistic people, or because we're just simply so friggin' busy, we'll assume that the situation is going good, but in all actuality, situation is beating you up. The situation is knocking you down, picking you back up. You ever got knocked out, then he picked you back up just to knock you out again? So I got to check the small things, man. Share credit. There are two reasons to follow this rule. First, to manage your ego. And second, to keep yourself attuned to the fact that people are emotional beings and it's natural, if sometimes counterproductive for them, like you, to be motivated by emotional needs as much as any other category of need. As Powell wrote, people need recognition and a sense of worth as much as they need food and water. This is why we see brothers like Alpo who know they shouldn't be somewhere, who know they shouldn't go somewhere, but because of their need, because of his need for recognition and a sense of worth, he had to go back to the same places where he got that sense of worth and recognition before. And look what happened. It did not end well. Rule number 11, have a vision. Why is this so important? For your own sanity and effectiveness, of course, but also because people have a deeply felt emotional need for purpose. If you're a leader, part of your job is to articulate a vision that is worthy of their efforts. Yo, I don't care if you dating a shorty, if you at a company, if you're building your own brand or business, you got to clearly articulate the vision, not only for those around you, but for yourself. If you don't clearly articulate the vision, how can you clearly stay and understand that, yo, I'm on the right path? It's impossible. Don't take counsel of your fears or naysayers. Fear is natural and sometimes useful, but the point here is to acknowledge the fear and then try to remove the emotion from decision making. Same thing with the people who say you can't accomplish what you want to accomplish. If they have valid points, consider them. But don't let their volume unduly influence you. Rule number 13, last rule, y'all. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. Perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. Finally, this is the rule that I think gets repeated most often in military circles. It's also the most mythical in terms of emotional intelligence. In short, this isn't just about believing that things can get done. It's also about proclaiming that optimism to people you lead in both your words and your actions. Your optimism can become contagious, thus leading others to believe that things can be done, or the problem isn't surmountable, or that fears need to be counseled. And the fact of the matter is this, before we get up out of here, you already know. The rules conflict. That's a good thing. Powell's legacy was legitimate, but it was complicated by his 2013 presentation to the United Nations in support of the invasion in Iraq. In fact, as I read over this list, I think it seems that he followed Rule 13 about perpetual optimism at the time, to his detriment of Rules 5, 7, and 8 about being methodical, not allowing yourself to be pressured into decisions, and checking small things. Still, sometimes the most useful rules are the ones that conflict and force you to make difficult decisions. All the more reason to make you improve your emotional intelligence and think about the legacy you'll leave. For hundreds of thousands of soldiers and sailors, to say nothing of millions of others who read and hear these rules, this simple list would be a big part of Powell's. Listen, y'all. If you ain't get it, I'm going to break it down to you right now. It's bigger than you. It's always bigger than you. Regardless of what you think, thought, or was told, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than how you feel. It's bigger than what you think. It's bigger than that. Because as much as we are all very important people, important individuals, we are simply a speck of dust on this grand scheme called Earth. We are simply a speck of dust in this grand scheme called Earth. Jadakiss said, when you die, for a couple hours, you might get missed until they light they spliff. When you die, for a couple hours, you might get missed until they light they spliff. You just a speck of dust, bro. DMX died a year ago, a little more, maybe about a year. I ain't heard nothing about the dog since, man. Nipsey died maybe 2-3 years ago. I ain't heard nothing about Nipsey since, man. You just a speck of dust. They might miss you for a couple hours till they light they spliff. So as I light my spliff, I'll tell you this. Always move with the intention to be greater for others. Always move with the intention to be greater for others.